Assalamu alaikum, dear students. In the previous lectures, we discussed the rules for debit and credit, and we discussed two approaches, and we also discussed how to apply these rules. I hope you understood very well and you worked well at home. So now that we are aware about the rules for recording the transactions, the rules for debit and credit, now we will be coming to the recording phase of accounting. So you know that accounting is a process. Basically, accounting is a process. It is a process of 8 steps. The first step is identifying. The second step is measuring, recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpreting, and communicating information about the business. You know that accounting is a process. Actually, accounting is a process. The most comprehensive definition of accounting will be accounting is a process. It is a process which mainly comprises of these 8 steps: the identification, measurement, recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpreting, and communicating information about a business or transactions of a business. You know that. In the first step is identifying business transactions. Now that you already know that what business transactions mean, in this first phase, we identify the business transactions that we did. We identified the transactions with the help of source documents. We consulted the source documents such as the invoices, cash memos, vouchers, pay slips, checks, etc. And we identified those transactions from those source documents. That was the first step. And after that, after the identification, why we do identification? We do identification in order to know that whether this transaction is a business transaction or is it simply a transaction. You know that what the term business transaction means: a transaction that involves money. And we do this identification step in order to know whether this transaction is of material nature or not. You know that convention of materiality. Keeping in mind the convention of materiality and keeping in mind the basic concept of business transaction, the definition of business transaction, we identify the transactions out of source documents. And after identification, what we do, we measure these transactions. If a transaction is now identified from the source documents that it is a business transaction, then we measure. Business transaction is a transaction which involves money. And in measurement, we see how much money is involved. We know the volume of transaction, how much amount is involved. And in the third step, we start recording these transactions. You know that we have discussed these 2 steps. In the first step, we discussed what does the source documents mean and how we identify business transactions out of those source documents. And in the second step, the measurement, you know that it is somehow easy to measure the volume of a transaction, the volume, the extent to which it involves the money. When we measure a transaction from a source document, for example, cash memo, check, invoice, bill, etc. When we measure a transaction, after it is measurement, after it is identification, we prepare a final source document which is called a voucher that you have studied already, that I have discussed already. And on that voucher, on that source document, why is that prepared? In order to know that which account we should debit, in order to know that which account we should credit, or the voucher is prepared to take the decision that which account is to be debited or which account is to be credited. So you know that when we studied in the previous lectures the rules for debit and credit, in those rules for debit and credit, we decided which account is to be debited and which account is to be credited by following the proper rules. So you will have to keep in mind that the application of those rules is done particularly at the time of preparation of vouchers. In the previous lecture, I taught the application of rules. I discussed the application of rules. How we analyze a transaction by following those 5 steps. We follow those 5 steps to analyze a transaction, to apply the rule at the time of preparation of vouchers. After we have prepared the vouchers, we have identified transactions, we have measured transactions, we have prepared vouchers, and on the vouchers, what we have done, we have taken the decision which account is to be debited and which account is to be credited. After that, after the preparation of those vouchers and after the application of those rules and after taking that decision that which account we will have to debit and which account we will have to credit, what we follow? We follow the third step in the process of accounting. That is, we start recording those transactions. Now that we have identified transactions, we have measured, we have decided which account is to be debited, which we have applied the rule. Now, after doing all this, we are in a position, after taking the decision that which account we should debit and which account we should credit. After taking this decision, we will be in a position to record these business transactions. Now, we start recording these transactions in the third phase. In the third phase of this whole process of accounting, we started recording these transactions. And when we have to record these transactions, we prepare some books. We prepare some books to record these transactions. Firstly, in the business, and out of those books, which books we prepare usually? Firstly, we prepare journal, we prepare cash book, we prepare purchase book, we prepare sales book, purchase returns book, sales returns book. We prepare some books in order to record these transactions, in respect of which we have done these 2 steps. In respect of which we have done these 2 steps, which we will record those transactions which we have identified, measured, and in respect of which we have decided that as to which account is to be debited and which account is to be credited. So, in this phase, in recording phase, a business usually prepares some books. Firstly, we prepare journal, and then a business prepares cash book, purchase book, sales book, purchase returns book, sales returns book, etc. Some books. And today we will be discussing what does this journal mean, how we record transactions in this journal, and after that we will be proceeding to these books that we prepare in the recording phase of accounting. These books are called subsidiary books. Subsidiary means additional. Basically, journal is prepared and all the business transactions are recorded in this journal in a chronological order. Firstly, each and every business transaction is recorded in the journal in a chronological order, and apart from preparing journal, we prepare some additional books which are called subsidiary books, that is cash book, purchase return book, sales return book, etc. We will be discussing that. So today we will be starting the recording phase of accounting, and in the recording phase of accounting, you know that we prepare some books. Firstly, a business prepares journal and records all the transactions that we have already discussed, how a transaction is, as to which account of a transaction is to be given debit and which is to be given credit. What does that debit and credit mean? What are the rules? We have already discussed those. Now we will be starting recording these transactions in the books of a business. So in the recording phase, some books are prepared, journal and subsidiary books. Now we will be discussing that. So today we will be starting the recording phase of accounting, the third phase, recording phase. And in the recording phase, you know that some books are prepared. Firstly, journal is prepared. Firstly, what is prepared? Which book is prepared? We prepare journal. We maintain the journal of a business and record. Firstly, we record transactions in this book. You know that. So, let us discuss what does this journal mean. Firstly, let me show you that the word journal is derived from a French word jour, jour, which means daily. Which means daily. You know that this journal is also called as book of original entry. Book of original entry. Or we can say that this journal is also known as book of primary entry. The journal is a book in which each and every business transaction that takes place in a business is recorded chronologically. Each and every transaction is recorded chronologically. Or we can say that each and every business transaction is recorded in the chronological order. Chronological order means it is recorded on the basis of time, on the basis of sequence, proper sequence of time and date of happening of the transaction. What does that mean? What does that convey? Whenever a business starts recording the transactions, recording it as transactions in its books. Firstly, a business prepares a big book which is called a journal, and in that journal, each and every business transaction that takes place in a business, each and every transaction is recorded in the journal on the basis of time. For example, today 3 transactions took place. So we will be recording today these 3 transactions on today's date. When tomorrow we will open the journal of the business and start recording the transactions, we will be recording tomorrow's transactions on tomorrow's date, and so on and so forth. So each and every business transaction that takes place in a business is recorded on the basis of date and time. That is called, it is recorded chronologically. So what you have to remember is that journal records each and every business transaction, and every business transaction is first recorded in journal. Then in the ongoing lectures, in the upcoming lectures, you will be observing that after journal we prepare so many books in a business, subsidiary books, we prepare the ledger accounts, we prepare the final accountants, you know that. But the journal is a book in which each and every business transaction is recorded in a chronological order. Whenever a transaction happens, firstly it is recorded in the journal. Firstly it is recorded in the journal. The process of recording the transactions in a journal is called journalizing. The process of recording transactions in a journal is called journalizing. You know, the process of recording transactions in a journal is called journalizing. Journalizing is a process in which we record transactions of a business in the journal. During this process of journalizing, we prepare a journal which comprises of 5 columns. During this process of journalizing, we prepare a journal which comprises of 5 columns. The first column is date. The first column is for date. This column is one of the most important columns because I have already said that transactions are recorded in a journal on the basis of time. They are recorded on daily basis. They are recorded chronologically. So this column is more important in this journal. The first column is for date. And after date, there is another column which is for particulars. The particular column records the details, the descriptions. The particulars column records the details, or we can say it records the description according to rules. After that, there is a column which is called LF, ledger folio, which is called a ledger folio. Ledger folio means when we prepare a journal, we are in the recording phase. We are in the recording phase, the third phase of accounting. In the recording phase, we prepare firstly the journal and record each and every transaction in this journal. Each and every transaction that happens on the basis of time. We record that transaction. And after this recording phase, when we will move to the classification phase, then we will take these transactions from the journal and classify them into separate accounts. At that time, we will be preparing a separate book. We will be preparing a separate book at the time of classification phase of this accounting. And in that separate book, which is called a ledger, we will be taking these transactions from the journal and classifying into separate accounts in the ledger. Now, for example, we have recorded a transaction here on the basis of date. We will take this transaction and put it in a separate account in the ledger. The page number of the ledger where this transaction is put in the separate account, the page number of the ledger where this transaction is classified, the page number of the ledger where this transaction is classified into a separate account is written here. So, during the preparation of journal, when we have not yet prepared the ledger account, if we are preparing the ledger accounts, we are classifying the ledger accounts at the same time when we are preparing the journal, then it is necessary to write the page number of the ledger where this transaction will be classified in a separate account. If we classify the transaction as at some other time, so we will leave this column empty up to the time when this transaction will be taken from this journal and classified in separate account. So ledger folio means page number of the ledger where this transaction is classified later on. And then there are 2 columns. One column is for debit amount and another column is for credit amount. Then there are 2 columns, amount columns. First column is for debit amount and another column is for credit amount. So this is the format of a journal. There are 5 columns. First column is for date, then particulars, ledger folio, debit amount and credit amount. We are discussing the process of journalizing. In the process of journalizing, we prepare a journal which comprises of 5 columns. We prepare a journal which comprises of 5 columns, and in this journal we record transactions. In this journal we record transactions. For example, to understand it, let us write a transaction here. The date for transaction is 15th of August 2020. The transaction is purchased goods rupees 10,000. We purchased goods on cash worth rupees 10,000 on 15th of August 2020. Now we have to write this transaction on the basis of date, on the basis of time in this journal. You know that how to analyze this transaction I have already discussed. So before recording this transaction into the journal, first analyze this transaction in the way I have discussed. After analyzing it, after deciding which account is to be debited and which account is to be credited, then record. When we already know that which accounts are affected in this transaction, what is the nature of those accounts, which account is to be debited, which account is to be credited, when we already know it, then there is no problem in recording this transaction into this journal. So here we write the date 15th of August 2020. Then we will move to the particulars column. After analyzing this transaction, you will have to analyze it. I will say randomly here, after analyzing this transaction, we have found that there are 2 accounts affected in this transaction, purchase account and cash account. And we will have to give debit to the purchase account and credit to cash account, because purchase come in and cash goes out. Both are real accounts. When you will analyze this transaction, you will find that way. So we will record this transaction here. So we will record it as such: purchases account debit, purchase account debit. Debit in the debit column we will write 10,000, and we will give credit to the cash account, and for